a book. Read 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 a book. Na 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 na.
YouTube, Instagram, who knows? I know that knowledge is powerful, and if you got it, you can do anything that you want. But who are you? The positive coach, the reading coach, because you're really doing the most. If you ain't talking about money, you ain't talking about nothing. Cause me and my bitches ain't worried about nothing. Please, that's how you wanna live your life, your whole life, not knowing how to read and write. What if you got jammed up but don't know you're right, don't know how to read, you still gotta pay the price. What I do? Why you looking real clueless? Don't get mad at me when your friends are calling you stupid. I guess they really not my friends if they look down on me then. Nope. Would it really hurt if I do some reading? Nope, it won't hurt, not at all. As long as you try this all and give your all. When you just
read a book,
you can really gain some knowledge when you
read a book.
You can stimulate your mind when you read a book. You might as well go ahead and just
read a book.
I can really gain some knowledge.
Read a book.
I can stimulate my mind when I
read a book.
Even with my friends, I can read a book. Oh man, might as well just read a book. Read a book. Read a book. Read a book. Read a book.
Oh, hey, oh. All right. All right, guys, we are going to read a book, and our book will be today, The Magic School Bus.
The Magic School Bus.
You saw it? There is a cartoon called The Magic School Bus, so it's so much fun to read a book and then see it, right? So our
Before too.
isn't it good? So then you can head on how it goes.
It's not a movie, but I've seen it.
Okay.
When the bus went in that boy's nose.
Right. All right. So the Magic School Bus and the Electric Field Trip. The Electric Field Trip. All right. And this book is by Joanne Cole. It is illustrated by Bruce. All right. To Rachel, what a gal. To Trevor and Garrett and all the roses, especially Matt, who opened my lines to Electric Company. All right. It looked like rain on the day Miss Fizzle decided to teach our class about electricity. She gave us a book, she showed us a video, and she helped us do experiments. As usual, Miss Fritz was excited about science. Do you love it when your teachers are excited about it? Every once in a while, Ms. Fizzle looked out of the window and murmured to herself, "She would be here any minute." Who should be here? We wondered, as we made a list of everything in our classroom that uses electricity. There is no one like Mrs. Frizzle. She's definitely one of a kind, and so is her dress. Just then, a red-haired girl cartwheels into the room. "Hello, Aunt Valerie," and the girl kissing Mrs. Fizzle on the cheek. "Hello, my niece Dottie Frizzle is visiting today," said the Fritz Dottie. "You're learning about electricity today." Dottie seemed so excited about science, just like Mrs. Frizz. Mrs. Frizz looked out at a pointer and said, "Class, to understand electricity, we must understand atoms. Here is a giant model of an atom." So there's a little giant model of the atom. She pointed to the outer part of the atom model. These tiny parts are called electrons, she said. Most of the time, electrons stay with their own atom, continued the Fritz. But sometimes electrons get pulled away. They leave one atom and jump to the next. They make a stream that runs from atom to atom. That stream is called an electronic current. Outside, the sky got darker and darker by the minute, and big raindrops started plopping down. Miss Frizzle picked up a roll of electric wire and peeling off some of the plastic insulation to show the copper wire inside, she said, the metal wire makes a path for electrons. The plastic covering keeps them in the wire and away from us. Frizzy said that one way to make electric currents is to move a magnet near a wire. We made a tiny power plant in our classroom. Our mini power plant can move one little needle, but the city power plant sends enough electricity for our whole town. Just then, flashing thunder crackled outside. The lights in our room flickered and went out. All the appliances stopped. There's no electricity. There was a blackout, said Miss Frizz. Let's find out what happened. Oh no. Soon, we were riding on the old school bus trying to find out what happened because of the blackout. It wasn't long before we saw the problem. The lightning hit the tree and knocked it down. The falling tree had broken a power line. Sparks were flying everywhere. Help! Let's get out here, we yelled. The Fritz, don't waste a minute. She made a U-turn and drove away. It's smart to be afraid when there's power lines that are down. We have to be very, very smart. They are dangerous. We looked back and we saw electric workers arriving. They were going to fix the problem. You see, they go up there on the pole. Isn't that cool? Up ahead was the town power plant. It looked like a city building. Inside those buildings, it is equipment that makes electricity, Ms. Fizzle told us. Let's visit the power plant. What a wonderful idea, crowded the Fritz. Hang on, everyone. Everybody's showing how they broke fixed the land electricity. Look at that. That's completely awesome. When we arrive at the plant, Miss Fizzle gives us a heat-proof suit and says, we'll begin our tour by observing the fuel supply. So, what they get to burn.
Hey, story time. I can't see you I can't see the book very well because your screen is so tiny.
My screen is so tiny. Let's make it bigger. Does this help? Because I want you to see this. I love this picture of the power plant. You can see it. The dump truck tipped up and it tumbled down and the coal chute. We landed the coal bin and slid into a furnace of flames. Let's see what all this heat is used for, said Mrs. Fizzle.
I still can't see the book very well because your screen is still tiny.
Well, you can make it bigger.
She's not sharing.
Let's see.
Oh, that.
If I stop sharing completely, let's see. Is this better?
Yes.
Yay! We did it! So, we were dumping the coal down the chute. and they went into the furnace of the flames to see what all the heat was used for. So, there's the furnace. They wanted to show you how a power plant operates. They put coal down here, and then they make a fire. Overhead, there was a metal pipe with water in it. The fire was making the water boil. The boiling water turns into steam.
Well, I can do the book now. Okay, now I can.
In a second, our whole class was sent inside the steam pipe. So they're all pretending to go into the steam pipe. The steam was traveling at high speed, and we too were learning about all this steam is used for class. We steamed along through the pipe and the next room in the power plant. So they're pretending to go through all the different areas that the steam would go into, like the pipe and coming out. There was only one thing in the room, an enormous machine called a turbine. It had blades like a fan, and when the steam pushed on the blades, the turbine spun around. So it looks like a fan.
Whoa.
See the fan right here?
Yes.
All right, the turbine made a metal shaft spin. We spin the shaft and slide along, and the next part of the power plant, let's go and look at all this, what spinning is for. So, they go down. The shaft led us to a generator, the part of the plant that actually makes electricity. This generator was really big. It looks like a big circle thing. And it works just like the one we had made in school. On the outside were coils of wire. On the inside was a magnet. The shaft turned the magnet, and the moving magnet turned electric current to run into the wire. That is awesome. That's scary though. Woof. Then the current flowed into the power plant, the large wire leading up to the plant. Next, we'll observe what the electricity is used for. And suddenly, we began to get smaller and smaller and smaller until we could fit inside the power line. So they're actually pretending to go into the power line. You see that? They're going to pretend to be electricity, I think. So we got really small. Now we could fit in the spaces of the wire. Electrons were jumping all around us and making currents, and we followed Fritz from the power plant through the line of our town, dodging electrons as we went. On the way, we passed through the transformers, made it through the voltage in the high towers and lowers. Higher voltage helps us, the currents in the long distance from the plant to the place that we use this electricity. Lower voltages are used in factories and big businesses. Still, lower voltages are used in small buildings and homes. Where are we going? We're on our way to a light bulb. So they are pretending to be electrons, and they're going to go and make electricity to a light bulb. All right, we're moving down the power line. Here we are at the town library. You know, Titi Kim likes libraries. We followed through the wire and into the lamp, and we're going into the light bulb. Inside the light bulb, we squeezed very, very, very thin wire. It's called the filament, that little thing in the light bulb. It makes the light bulb light up. Billions and billions of electrons were pushing through the little thin filament all at once. That made the filament get white hot. When something is very white hot, it glows like light. We scarcely had time to put on our sunglasses before we were in and out of the light bulb. Ooh. Then we were heading from the library. We didn't even have a chance to check out any books. We traveled down the street through the power line until we came to Joe's Diner. Once inside the diner, in the restaurant, we entered a toaster. Now we're obvious how electricity makes heat, said the Fritz. Follow me, and we're into the heating elements. The heating elements were the coils. They had a special kind of wire. Then electricity flowed through the wire, and it gets hot. They're just showing you all the different ways electricity moves from one place to another. The heating element was making some toast. That reminded us. Wasn't it almost lunchtime? Miss Fritz didn't stop. Maybe she wasn't hungry. We went to the wire in the main power line again. We will now visit someone's house, she said. Let's make a sharp turn. Boop. I wonder whose house, murmured Phoebe. It was Phoebe's house. Her grandmother was using a power saw. She was making a bookcase. Oh, good, said Miss Frizzle. This gives us a chance to see how is driven in an electric motor. Miss Fizzle said the electric motor has a magnet inside. Remember how the magnet current with a magnet makes electricity? Well, it works the other way too. Electric currents can turn a piece of metal into a magnet. This kind of magnet is called an electromagnet. Electromagnets are what make the motor run. All right, so she's running and she's running. Now for a tour of the electric motor, called Miss Frizzle. We ran through the wire and into the motor, and everything was whirling and shaking in there. A cylinder called a rotor was turning very, very fast. The spinning rotor made a blade turn so it could cut wood. All the different things that electricity can do. While we were in the motor, Grandma saw that we didn't notice the cat was creeping up to the bird cage. I think he was going to eat him. Watch out! The cage fell over, scattered all the bird seed everywhere. All the stuff got on the carpet. Grandpa to the rescue with a vacuum cleaner. Come on, kids, called Miss Fizzle. We have to see this. She led us to the power saw in one outlet, through the wires, and out another one into the vacuum cleaner wire. The motor in the vacuum cleaner works just like the saw, except that inside a moving saw, there turns a fan. I get it. The sand sucks air, and when it goes, dirt comes out with it. Well, I'm not going, and the cat ran. We're getting ready to leave. Finished vacuuming, turned off the switch, and that made a gap for the electric pathway. No more electrons could flow past the gap, so the motor stopped running. We called to Grandpa, but he couldn't hear us. She got to get back in time for school karate class. The rest of us were playing soccer. But what could we do? We were stuck in the switch of the vacuum cleaner. Oh no, they were actually stuck. Remember, they are electrons, and now they're stuck inside the vacuum cleaner. That's not good. Suddenly, we heard a loud bark. Puppy had been digging a hole in the garden, and he came outside, all covered with dirt, and the first thing you do is he rolls around inside the carpet. Now that's what I call a dirty dog. The carpet isn't clean either. So the vacuum is sure to get its work out today. Grandpa had to switch on the vacuum cleaner again. The switch pulled the contacts together, and the electric path was complete again. Now, follow Miss Frizzle back to the school. We went through the switch, out the wire, to the outside power line, down the street, and into the wires of the school wall. We flowed through an outlet and into the wire of the floor waxing machine. The next thing we know, we were popping out the holes in the wire insulation. As soon as we had grown into our regular sizes, Miss Frizzle led us back into class. And that was our day learning about electricity. We had some day. We had gone through fires and wires and walls. We had closed encounters with subatomic particles. And now we've seen a new side of home appliances, the inside. Now everything was back to normal in our class. Well, except Mrs. Frizzle, of course. She's not gonna be normal. The end. Isn't that kind of cool how electricity works?